6-year-old Kameron Prescott was hit with a stray bullet.
Right now, what I'm dealing with is a tragic accident.
While most of us were enjoying the holiday season, opening presents, whatever you do, the Prescott family was not.
The police, man, we hope y'all hold y'all's people accountable. Y'all just killed a little boy.
They were enduring unimaginable grief as their 6-year-old son, Kameron, was shot and killed by police in the family's home, making this almost the 1,200th police shooting this year alone. Now, full disclosure, each shooting is complicated by a different array of circumstances that have to be taken case by case, but many result in headlines that include the words tragic accident. This was true with Tamir Rice, and it was true with Sandra Bland, and it was the case with countless other shootings when certain officers decided that the only way they could de-escalate a situation was with a bullet. In this situation, Kameron was not the target. He was the unlucky victim of a stray bullet. The incident happened when deputies responded to a report of a stolen vehicle. The perpetrator was a woman named Amanda Jones, who they pursued to Kameron's mobile home. Reports suggested that she was in possession of a weapon, which turned out to be a pipe, not a gun. When Jones emerged from the trailer she had forced her way into, 4 officers unleashed an array of bullets, one of which pierced the walls of the mobile home and struck Kameron in the abdomen, killing the 6-year-old. And here are my takeaways, right? Police have one of the most difficult jobs in the world. No one is questioning that, especially in the United States, especially in a state such as Texas, which has such loose gun laws. There was every possibility Amanda Jones had a weapon on her. And if the police in this country only rarely open fire on suspects they believe to be armed, then I would say, okay, agree that the officers deserved the benefit of the doubt. But just as police say that they thought Amanda Jones had a gun, which she didn't have, they also thought that Philando Castile was reaching for a gun. He wasn't.
Don't pull it out.
They also thought Terrence Crutcher was reaching for a gun. He wasn't.
And following commands.
Not for taser, right?
They also thought Daniel Shaver, in the middle of trembling, crying, crawling on the floor, and pleading for his life, was reaching for a gun. He wasn't. We talk about fear in these situations, the fear that some officers feel before they fire. What about the fear felt by civilians? What about the fear felt by those of us who are untrained for such situations in a country that rushes to defend cops who shoot civilians, no questions asked? We give police officers every benefit of the doubt when they fire a stray bullet that kills a 6-year-old, but a man is guilty of causing his own death for pulling up his shorts? Have we become so numb to these killings that we just believe any incident can be justified with, well, they shouldn't have reached for their ID so fast, so it was deserved? The only way we make this country a safer place for both officers and civilians is by re-establishing a level of trust. Trust that firing a weapon at someone's head or chest is not going to be the default protocol for police dealing with tense situations. Now, don't get me wrong, this woman was not innocent, but this level of fear that justifies 4 guns fired at one target from distance at will without first scoping out the premises is not an accident. It's the result of society's acceptance of police in the United States taking such extreme measures. It's a result of accepting excuses time and time again, and rarely, if ever, demanding accountability, even if a 6-year-old becomes collateral damage. And I've covered these situations enough to know the response coming my way from those blinded by a false sense of patriarchy that criticizing police is deemed unpatriotic. They'll say, well, you don't know what it's like in those situations. And you're right, 100% right. I don't. I'm not trained. I'm not programmed to be prepared for that situation. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be a police officer, but we have police officers who are human too, and don't get me wrong, make mistakes, but they are trained for such situations if it takes place, and far too often they result in accidents, which speaks to me as more police reform is needed, not less. Jeff Sessions. My heart goes out to Cameron's family, and we must do better. Follow me on Instagram at Francis M. Maxwell, and on Twitter also, Francis M. Maxwell. Like and share the video. Continue to resist.